Adversity doesn't just build character, it reveals it. How many times have we heard that cliché, yet failed to truly understand its depth? If you're a Sigma male, chances are you didn't come from a picture-perfect family. Your upbringing wasn't filled with sunshine and soft hugs. In fact, it was probably far from it. You weren't handed a nurturing environment where your individuality could thrive effortlessly. Instead, you grew up in a harsh reality amid control, manipulation, and emotional chaos. Your childhood was a battlefield, a place where survival wasn't a choice, but a necessity. You learned quickly that the world around you was unpredictable, where every word spoken carried a weight, and every glance was loaded with meaning. But here's the truth most people miss. That fire, the fire of hardship, the fire of struggle, the fire of emotional warfare didn't destroy you. No, it forged you. It reshaped you into something stronger, more resilient, and more aware of who you are and what you can handle. The challenges you faced didn't break you. They were the crucible in which your true self was formed. You may have grown up with toxic influences pulling at you from all directions, pushing you to conform, to bend, to submit. Yet as you battled your way through those difficult years, something extraordinary happened. The very forces that tried to crush you didn't just fail, they inadvertently shaped you into something they couldn't even fathom. They made you into a Sigma male. Now, when you look back, you see how each hardship played a crucial role in your development. That fire, the emotional chaos, the controlling behavior, the gaslighting didn't rob you of your future. It gave you a skill set that most people would never know existed. You weren't just born into a toxic family by chance. It happened because you were meant to transform it into a gift. This isn't about becoming bitter, cynical, or jaded. That would be too easy, wouldn't it? It's about turning pain into precision, control into freedom, and chaos into mastery. Sure, the experience may have been painful, but you now have the power to see it as an advantage. In fact, your toxic upbringing is not your curse, it's your secret weapon. And trust me, it's time to own it. So, let's explore this transformation in all its depth and glory. 1. They mastered survival before they even knew the word. Survival is a skill. It's one that most people don't think about until they're forced into a situation where their lives, emotional, physical, or mental, are on the line. But for you, the Sigma male, survival wasn't just a skill, it was life from day one. And honestly, it was never easy. Growing up in a toxic family meant that nothing was ever straightforward. Love came with conditions. I'll love you if you do this. Trust was a gamble, and peace was an illusion, fleeting like sand slipping through your fingers. Most children spend their time figuring out who they are and what makes them happy. But you spent your childhood figuring out how to avoid the next emotional ambush. When a parent exploded in anger, you knew to keep your distance. When someone tried to manipulate you with guilt, you learned how to mask your true feelings. You were always on alert, always looking for the signs. But here's the remarkable thing. You didn't just survive. You thrived. You navigated the storm with grace, and without even realizing it, you developed a skill set that was forged through hardship. The chaos around you wasn't just something to endure, it became your training ground. It taught you things that others could never learn, no matter how hard they tried. While other kids were sheltered from life's harsh realities, you were facing them head-on. Silent arguments, emotional landmines that no one else could see, personal attacks disguised as concern. You learned to read the signals, to interpret the hidden meanings in every word spoken and every silence held. You didn't just adapt to this environment, you excelled in it. Your ability to stay calm when others panicked, your skill to think clearly when the world seemed to be spinning out of control, became your edge. You didn't just learn to survive, you learned to thrive. In this chaotic world, you found peace in your own strength. This environment, meant to break you, only hardened you without making you cold. It taught you independence without turning you into a loner, and it sharpened your instincts until you were never caught off guard. You became the calm in the storm, the one who always knew exactly how to move when everything around you was falling apart. And now, as an adult, this quiet, sharp strength is the core of who you are. 2. They understand people's true colors without being told. Growing up in a toxic environment means learning that actions often don't align with words. Promises get broken. People say one thing and do another. Love is conditional, always on the edge of being withdrawn. And trust is something that's earned through performance, not emotion. As a result, Sigma males develop an uncanny ability to see through the facades that others wear. You didn't need to be told that people lie, deceive, or manipulate. You saw it firsthand, time and time again. And through this exposure, you became a master at reading between the lines. You didn't just hear what people said, you learned to pay attention to what they didn't say. The hesitation in their voice, the flicker in their eyes, The smallest shifts in body language, all of these became clues to the truth hiding beneath the surface. This wasn't magic, nor was it luck. It was experience. It was survival. You've been lied to enough times to know that deception often begins in the smallest details. You can see it in the overly detailed explanations, in the excuses that are just too perfect to be true. Over time, you've come to understand the little signals that others miss, and now you're able to spot a lie before it even forms. It's not paranoia. It's just preparation. You don't walk through life assuming that everyone is out to get you. But you do walk through life with the awareness that not everyone's motives are pure, and because of this awareness, you stay ahead. While others are blindsided by betrayal or manipulation, you've already seen it coming, and you've already adjusted your course. Your ability to discern people's true intentions isn't about suspicion, it's about protecting yourself. And this ability to read people is a tool that keeps you one step ahead in all areas of life: relationships, work, and personal connections. 3. They built their identity from scratch. In a toxic family, individuality isn't something that's nurtured. It's often suppressed. There's no room for self-expression because the environment revolves around control over who you are, how you should act, and what you're allowed to feel. But Sigma males, they don't fit into molds, and that's where the rebellion begins, quiet, subtle, and deliberate. The pressure to conform becomes the fuel for something more powerful, the refusal to let anyone dictate who they are. Every rule that was forced upon them, every belief that was imposed without question, becomes something that's examined, deconstructed, and eventually rebuilt. This process isn't easy. In fact, it's downright painful at times, but it's necessary. Every criticism, every expectation, every demand to be someone else only serves to push you further away from the mold and closer to your true self. You learn to think critically not because anyone taught you, but because your survival depended on it. In the absence of guidance, you became your own teacher. You carved out your own path, and as you did, you built an identity so solid that nothing could shake it. This identity wasn't tied to anyone else's approval, validation, or expectations. It wasn't shaped by outside influences, it was self-made. Your upbringing may have tried to suppress you, but all it did was teach you how to become unshakably yourself. Now, no amount of criticism, rejection, or societal expectation can change who you've chosen to become. You are who you are, and you stand firm in that. 4. They're immune to emotional blackmail. In toxic families, emotions are often used as weapons. Love is dangled like a carrot, held just out of reach, while guilt is used as a cudgel to enforce obedience. Manipulation becomes a game, and control is the goal. Sigma males, however, are no strangers to this game. They grew up immersed in it, but instead of being trapped by it, they learned to outmaneuver it. They developed immunity. It's not that they stopped feeling emotions. Oh no. They feel deeply, more deeply than most people will ever understand. But they've learned not to let others use those emotions against them. When someone tries to guilt them with phrases like, "After everything I've done for you," Sigma males don't take the bait. They don't get defensive, they don't crumble. Instead, they remain calm, detached, and deliberate. They've learned how to separate their emotions from other people's manipulative tactics. This ability isn't just about protecting themselves, it's about taking control of their own emotional state. Manipulators thrive on emotional responses, but Sigma males respond with logic and rationality. They set firm boundaries, and they refuse to let their emotions be hijacked by anyone. This deep sense of self-awareness and self-control gives them the ultimate freedom. The freedom to stay true to themselves, no matter the emotional games being played around them. 5. They lead without trying to control. If there's one thing that Sigma males have learned from growing up in toxic environments, it's that control stifles growth. Control breeds resentment. Control suffocates potential. When Sigma males step into leadership roles as adults, they take everything they've learned about manipulation and control and do the exact opposite. Their leadership isn't about wielding power or demanding obedience. It's about empowerment. It's about creating space for others to think for themselves, to grow, to flourish. Instead of micromanaging, they provide guidance and then step back, trusting others to handle things on their own. Their leadership is about building autonomy, fostering mutual respect, and encouraging others to reach their potential. In fact, Sigma males inspire trust because they don't try to control every aspect of a situation. They understand that real leadership isn't about making people follow you. It's about helping them lead themselves. 6. They are the perfect mix of soft and ruthless. Being raised in a toxic environment teaches you to strike a delicate balance between being compassionate and being fierce. Sigma males are experts at this balance. They know when to be kind, when to extend a helping hand, and when to stand firm in their boundaries. Their kindness is deliberate, it's not given to just anyone, and it's never taken for granted. But when those boundaries are crossed, when their trust is violated, the Sigma male doesn't hesitate to act. They don't waste time second-guessing or hoping for change. They are swift, decisive, and ruthless in removing toxic influences from their lives. Their kindness, when given, is pure, but their ability to protect themselves is equally fierce. This is the true strength of the Sigma male. They balance softness with ruthlessness, knowing exactly when each is necessary. 7. They spot toxicity before it enters their life. By now, you've probably realized that your ability to spot toxicity isn't just a skill, it's a superpower. After years of navigating manipulation, deceit, and emotional chaos, you've developed a finely tuned radar that picks up on inconsistencies, micro-expressions, and subtle shifts in behavior. You can smell toxicity from a mile away. The moment someone shows signs of toxic behavior, you notice. The red flags are impossible to ignore. And because you've been trained to trust your instincts, you act on those insights immediately. You cut ties, walk away, or set clear boundaries. No hesitation. No looking back. You know what it's like to let toxicity into your life. And you've learned the hard way to avoid it at all costs. Your finely tuned radar ensures that you protect your peace. It ensures that you avoid people and situations that would drain you, derail you, or pull you back into the chaos you've worked so hard to escape. 8. They are obsessed with freedom. Growing up in a restrictive environment does something to a person. It ignites a deep, unrelenting hunger for freedom. Emotional, psychological, and physical freedom. And for Sigma males, that hunger is insatiable. They value their independence above all else. They refuse to be controlled, manipulated, or boxed in by anyone. Their toxic upbringing taught them the value of autonomy in a way that most people will never fully understand. Now that they have tasted freedom, they will do whatever it takes to preserve it. They live life on their own terms, making their own decisions and setting their own rules. And no one, no family, no friend, no partner will ever take that freedom away from them. In the end, being a Sigma male isn't just about surviving a toxic environment, it's about transcending it. It's about using the hardship, pain, and manipulation as stepping stones to something greater. The fire you were forged in didn't destroy you. It made you stronger, sharper, and more self-aware than most could ever dream to be. You didn't just survive, you thrived. Through adversity, you learned the art of resilience, the power of independence, and the importance of emotional clarity. You've honed the ability to read people, to see through masks, and to protect yourself from toxicity before it even crosses your path. Your upbringing wasn't perfect, but it shaped you into someone who can lead with integrity, love with boundaries, and move through life with an unshakable sense of self. This journey wasn't easy, but it was necessary. And now, with all the wisdom you've accumulated, you hold the keys to your own freedom. You're no longer bound by the chains of your past. You've transformed those chains into a force that propels you forward. Your power lies in your ability to stay true to who you are, no matter what the world throws your way. So, as you step into the future, remember this. Your past doesn't define you, but it sure as hell prepared you. Own it, embrace it, and continue to grow into the unstoppable force you were always meant to be. The world doesn't know what's coming, but you do. And you're ready. That's all in this video, soldiers. If you like the video, consider subscribing to the channel. Now go out, conquer the world, because you are the chosen one.